Welcome to the online experience.
What is going on, guys? Peace, love, and light. It is your boy, Joshua October.
And I'm Jimmy Levar, and this is the online experience.
And I'm ALISA Reyes, LaCienega from the Proud Family Louder and Prouder on Disney+.
My bossy and my crew. So sit still, cause we're coming right back. Kareem and I are just in a book club of 2. Are you okay, LaCienega? It's just that I've never been like this. Like what? Not cute. I don't know how to deal with it. How do you do it?
We're living in one world. You gotta go in.
With Vanessa leaving, they're gonna need a replacement. This would be a really cool job. Do you think I can get it?
Well, there's only one way to find out, little sis. Just give it a try.
Maybe I will. After all, if I was in charge of this place, I'd be as popular as the girls with the big sweaters. I'm gonna go get it.
Let's go.
Thank you so much, Elisa, for being with us right now and taking the time out. You know, how is everything going?
God is good. I've been busy and riding the wave as gracefully as possible. I have a daughter now and she's 19 months, so she's definitely keeping me busy. She's my mini-me walking and talking. And the best part is when she hears LaCienega, she goes, Mama, and that just bestills my heart and makes it all worthwhile.
Wow. I mean, there's nothing like having a daughter. I have a 5-year-old, and she's keeping me very busy for Easter.
I can imagine. Am I ever going to sleep?
Yeah,
So-
you will. I promise you will.
Good.
But it's so funny that you mentioned her because I know that there was like in 2008 I know you lost your mother and you had just met your husband Nathan.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that was like an interesting like rebirth for you. I think that was like a great word to start it as rebirth. Do you think your daughter started like a new rebirth? Like, does that resonate at all?
I resonate with that ascension aspect of everything. My daughter, I feel, is my mother reincarnated without a doubt. And that's the most beautiful aspect of the situation is that when my mother was alive, there were moments that I felt like, okay, maybe I was her mother in another life because I am an only child. My mother was an only child, and now my daughter is an only child. And, I do feel like, you question yourself, have you cleared your karma? The question is, you do the best you can and you hope that, your ancestors just continue to watch over you and you just make a light path for your legacy. And so, yes, I feel like all of those frequencies are now, my daughter is my teacher. And that is the biggest lesson, as I'm sure you can relate being a parent, that we go through our own rebirth, especially through our children. And it really brings forth all of that inner child work that, at the end of the day, just does a full circle.
It really does. Wow. Wow, that definitely resonated with that. Definitely resonated.
Yay. We got deep. I love it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I want to just jump right into it. You became interested in acting at the age of 3 and you started modeling around the age of 8. Can you tell me a little bit? Can you tell me a little bit more about that? And how was it, being so young at the age of 3 and 8 and, starting to be a part of the industry and having all these cameras in your face. Can you give me a little bit of, background on that?
Sure. A glimpse of that is me knowing what I wanted to do as soon as I came out of the womb. I tried to stick my head in the television. My mother, God rest her soul, was like, that is not how you're going to get on Sesame Street. So we legit took some 4x6 black and whites. My hair was crimped. I was in this cute quinceañera dress. It was pink. And I was swinging on a swing. And I remember going I don't know about this, Mom. And we're we're going to just do it. We just found out locally through friends that were in the business, through people that we took dance classes with, or I was taking singing classes with, because I started to perfect my craft at a very young age, and I feel like it's important for a child. That's why my daughter, I'm going to let her do whatever she wants because, the sky's the limit. You got the world on a string. So I got lucky and an agent called me to come in and I got very blessed that someone really, took a chance on me because I was new, but everybody has to get a chance. So knowing what I wanted to do at a young age was, I think, at least beneficial for my tribe, because I would rather rather my family know what I wanted to do and have them support me than me hold it in and not be able to really like fly like a bird, you know? So I was very blessed to have a supportive mother. And, you know, it was so much fun starting as a kid because I was like a sponge, and now being an adult and still being in this business, you know, I feel very blessed to be doing what I love. And as I said, just riding that wave.
Love it.
Yeah, so like the word blessed, alignment, reincarnation, like these are words that like I hear like come from you.
Yes.
And like my question is, where does that sense of like self come from? Like do you get that from anybody? You know, like who was around? I mean, yeah.
I mean, I was raised by a mother that was very, very worldly. And so I came from a household where, you know, I'm Catholic, but I call myself a Catholic hippie. So I love my crystals. I love my sage. I love my astrology. I love meditating. I love connecting to my higher self. But then I go to church on Sundays, and people don't know, but I was in the choir for almost 8 years, and I was, you know, a lector, and I was a part of like, you know, different, you know, organizations to help raise money within my church. You know, I love to do philanthropy work. I love to connect with Gaia. I think it's important for us to ground our roots and really to be a part of that law of attraction. I believe what you put out comes back. That book, The Secret, the movie, The Secret, it's real. And if you believe in it, it's even more real. So for me, those frequencies, especially now with being in this business for over 30 years and, you know, being in moments where I've gone through my own trials and tribulations, I feel that, you know, I've learned that we are going through an ascension, and that basically everything that's kind of like what I call in the 3D matrix is kind of now awakening. And for those that are awakened, you know, God bless them. And for those that aren't, will hopefully become awakened, because the light overdoes the dark, of course. And for me, that's where I'm in my life, and my chapter is through that ascension and sharing that vibration with the world through my platform, through my arts, and now as a mother and a wife.
Wow. I just want to that's so powerful. You know, it's so powerful and it's so deep on so many levels. I don't, you know, if people actually understand, then they understand. But, you know, I mean, being grounded, being woke, being conscious, feeling the vibrations, giving that peace, love, and light out, you know, have that law of attraction come back. I mean, everything that you speak of is just so real, and it's beautiful to hear other people, you know, talk like that, and is also woke as well, because not everybody that you're around on a day-to-day basis is matching the same frequency and vibrations that you give out. So, you know, that's powerful. And, you know, I mean, you've been in this industry for quite some time. And I mean, you haven't only done, you know, the acting, but you've also been a DJ as well at one point in period of time of your life. And you've done some other things.
Oh yeah. I mean, I call myself a jack of all trades. You kind of have to be. I was a voice jockey for Sirius Radio and XM. And so I did that for a little while. And then I ventured into having my own show on Blog Talk Radio. So I've done radio, I produce, I write, I sing, I create content, I coach acting to all ages. I've been doing that for over 10 years. I do motivational speaking. You know, the list goes on and on. I think when you are in the entertainment business, it's imperative to be able to fill that cup up, because life is short, you know? So at the end of the day, you know, it's all love and light. And it's all also about just extending that olive branch, you know, to the world and giving back and so forth.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, like and when you are giving back and when you are like sharing light, when you're in moments of like darkness, like who do you really have you know, to like to recharge, essentially? Like, you know, if it's not
recharging
like,
is is not to interrupt, like that's the main antidote is to reboot, recharge, and redo. And especially with me now being a new mom, and, you know, juggling the scales and having to multitask, you know, like right now my daughter's standing right at my office door, and I'm like, I can focus right on you. I can do this.
Got you.
Rubbing my head and patting my back.
Do you still have 2 nannies?
Wait, say that one more time.
Do you still have 2 nannies?
Oh no, I don't have a nanny. By the grace of God, I've been able to raise my daughter, just my husband and I. So my husband and I, we rotate. You know, the challenge is having a child during a pandemic, and then my mother isn't here. And my father lives in another country, and my family lives in another state, as does my husband. So, you know, it's not like you can call any Joe Schmo, especially when you have a newborn. So it's been beautiful that it's just been us rotating, but it's been challenging and tiring. So I got to that point now where we have a routine with her. And by the grace of God, I've been working right since she popped out almost. You know, I took off for about 2 months, and then doing voiceovers, quite lovely, of course. But, you know, my joke is Proud Family. We do so much marketing and branding that you would think we're an on-camera show, because Disney Plus has just been amazing. And so we've done so much on camera as well. And everyone's been so supportive about me being a new mom and stuff. But yeah, the rebooting aspect is kind of where I'm in my life right now, where I'm like, I got to take a second, do me. I got to meditate. I got to journal. I got a vision board. Even if it's just sitting, breathing, and staring at a flower in my backyard, like I deserve that second. Because if I'm no good, nobody else is good. And I actually just kind of went through that recently, and I had to check myself, like, because I'm a workaholic, you know? So sometimes I don't know how to shut it off, but I just feel like I'll sleep when I'm dead. I got this grind. But then I'm like, no, I need to sleep because I got a baby. So I need a little bit of sleep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Now, children's book. Have you gotten any chance to do the children's book or the autobiography?
Funny that you bring that up. I actually have a couple projects that are children's book related, and I actually do have a children's book that I've been working on as well. You know, and I'm sure probably, I was telling my husband, later in life, I'm sure I'll have like an autobiography or a memoir. I've already started that, you know, but that's very therapeutic. And so you have to get to that when you're in the mood for that. You know, I'm lucky if I have a second just to like comb my hair right now. But yes, that is something that's actually in the works. And especially with me being a new mom, it just makes sense. And also with my fan base and the shows that I've been on, and the fact that I resonate so much with children, I feel like it's just a piece of the pie.
Right. How is that process? I mean, you know, writing children's book, I mean, and being a mother too. I mean, that's definitely, you know, a great thing, because you get to kind of mix both. I feel like, you know, put it in both, you know, being a mom and then, you know, writing the children's book. With these, you know, projects that you have right now currently that you're working on, is there any insight that you go into it, you know, with being careful on, you know, specific things on that you want to say, or do you want to write, like, what are your messages in these children's book that you're putting in and that, you know, you're giving back out?
Well, you know, no matter what content I work on, there's always like a moral, a principle, and a lesson to it, you know? And so especially if it's something that it's children's based off the demographic, I feel that it's like the Proud Family. We're ages like 6 to 60, 8 to 80. It's for the masses. So you always have to be aware, as is the show that I'm on, the Proud Family. They're immensely aware of everything that's going on, right? Like, not to segue it back to the show, but it's an example of how they talk about activism and LGBTQ community, right? They're aware about the awoke aspect of things, but also you have to be simpatico, right? And there's moments, as I like to say, to add the je ne sais quoi of things. So segueing back into my content that I create, I always make sure, you know, the why. Why would somebody want to read this? And you kind of go through like the who, what, when, where, why, which is something I call the 5 W's that I use academically within my acting when I do coaching sessions. And so it's all about diving into the character development, into the Bible and the root and foundation of what is the premises of the story and the message, right? So it could be something that's a very small seed and it'll spark and grow. And then of course, you know, at the end of the day with my boss lady antics, just make sure you copyright everything and all your stuff is just in right alignment. And if you're working with another writer, you have your paperwork in alignment. But other than that, you know, it's a beautiful process, but it's not something that, you know, you could pick up and do every day. You have to be really motivated to do it. It's like an art of a love of a project for me. You know, some projects like that for people can take years, and some people can do it right away. It's all based off of a priority and how they run, you know?
So are you speaking of projects, Shane Stanley is a name that comes to my mind because you've done like 4 projects with him.
Yes.
Was there ever a moment where you're like, I don't know if this is the project for me, or is everything just in alignment every time?
I think it's in alignment every time. You know,
Wow.
I feel with Shane, he started off as business, but then became a friend. And him and I are the epitome of what networking in this business is about. Establishing a relationship. And it's like that old saying, a lot of the shows that I've been on, right? They like you. If it ain't broke, they're going to bring you back. They're going to recycle you, because you all have to create your tribe, your frequency. It's the same with me. I have go-to writers I want to work with, go-to editors I want to work with, go-to this and that I want to work with, right? You have your little roster of people, right? Because at the end of the day, you know they're reliable. They're not a liability. They're going to show up and do their job, right? So that's kind of what happened with Shane. Is I met him. I did a short film called A Sight for Sore Eyes. Gary Busey was in that. And then he offered me a role right after my mother died. And I remember I was like, oh, my mom just died. He's like, it's going to be great for you. It kind of, where you are kind of goes with the character in this one scene. So I said, okay. I did it. And then they did part 2 of the movie. So they brought me in, and I was totally like a different person. And he even wrote in a line, said to me about being different. And I got to be sassy back, like, you know, and then Break Even happened, which for me was my favorite of all projects. I also was like, I went from supporting to being one of the leads. And what was great was it was an action crime, you know, a movie and suspenseful. I got to do some of my own stunts. We shot it on an island, on a yacht, in a speedboat. It was so much fun. I never worked out so hard. So my joke is, it's like, this was my like, you know, here I am moment. You know what I mean? Because I did hot yoga like 5 times a week. I had to be in a bathing suit for this role. And I wouldn't have had it any other way. And I did that in 2019. And then I did the reboot of all that. And then the pandemic happened, and moved into my first house, and boom, got pregnant, have a baby. And now I'm back working by the grace of God.
Yeah, those are really amazing things. Really, really amazing things. So happy for you, honestly.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
you're killing it. You're killing it, you know, because I mean, not everybody can just jump right back into it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, some people, you know, they may need more time, or they may just not ever get back into, you know, certain things that they would want to do. But you continue that perseverance, you continue to move forward and flow with, you know, the wind, and that's awesome, and that's beautiful. And I want to, you know, I want to take it back, and I want to talk a little bit about, you know, how was your experience being casted for all that? You know, I mean, a whole bunch of 90s kids remember that TV show. I mean, that TV show was one of the biggest, I feel like, of them all. And you know, you being there, being casted, you know, being getting callbacks, you know, how was your process, and how was your experience through those times?
Nostalgic. I wish I could redo it all over again. It's just, you know, I recently had lunch with some of the All That writers, because I'm close with everybody, and literally we were saying, like, this was like the best time of our life. You know, I was 12 years old, and I remember auditioning for All That literally 7 times later.
Oh, wow.
By the 3rd or 4th time, I felt like I could kick my feet up on the coffee table, and I knew the receptionist is like, you know, social security number and last name and everything. But I think also a lot of it was they didn't really know exactly what the formula was, right? And so it was a matter of like, what's the magic number? 5 kids, 8 kids, 9 kids. And then at the same time, I was the only one cast from New York City. So I was like, I gotta do my like Irish, Italian, Dominican tribe proud. and I remember Keenan and I were like the last you know, brought in, and my mom and I packed up everything and went to Orlando, and that was our home. I was bi-coastal from Manhattan, New York, and Orlando, and I met everyone for the first time. Freshly, when I got off the plane, we were brought right into like the tutoring trailer. We had to go right into school. School was very important. And I just remember like looking at everyone like, oh, she's cute, he's cute, who's that, you know? And everybody, we all look so different. We're the United Nations. This is really cool. I think everyone that watches this, they're going to resonate with it. And once we did our first table read and we were on set, we were all kind of nervous. All of a sudden, there was a moment where you just like felt like a shift in a dimension, and you were like, ooh, this work. This is going to be good. And then the rest was just history. And ever since then, like, it's been abundantly full of blessings. And I've just been really thankful for everything, and just really happy that I still keep in touch with everyone. And it's been great to work with them, even on the latest season, and now establishing the relationships with the new kids, and still my existing OG, you know, croonies.
That's so sick. And I mean, it's just so nostalgic of like work that, you know, you look back and you say like, you know, that you've done, and then like for it to come full circle again, like the Proud Family, like was that like
crazy.
is it still like a pinch me moment that like, because whether it would have been brought back or not, in my opinion, it would have always lived. So the fact that it came back again and it's still living, like, is it still a pinch me moment at all?
Yeah, I had a feeling, but I just was like, okay, it was the same with all that. It was a matter of time. If it ain't broke, it's gonna come back. I knew that TV's not the way it used to be. Cartoons aren't the way it used to be. So people are craving that good old fashioned 80s, 90s, early 2000 frequency, right? Especially with everything that's going on in the world. So I remember finding out from Bruce Smith, the creator, and Ralph Farquhar, the EP. They had called me, I think, oh God, what was it? Like the beginning of 2020. And they were like, yeah, you know, come into the Disney offices. And I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? Like, yeah, we're coming back. And I was like, no way. They're like, just get ready. You're going to get a call. And I was like, okay. And then, you know, a couple months later, we started a little later because of the pandemic, but it was like we never missed a beat. And basically, you know, Proud Family is basically us picking up from where we left off. So, you know, we go from tweens to teens. And now, because it was on Disney Channel, it's on Disney Plus, and there was such a gap, we have social media. We have new characters like Keke Palmer, EJ Johnson, and Billy Porter, and all these fabulous people, you know, and the guest stars were just sick. So we knew that it would just fall back into alignment. And now with everything going on, Disney has just been so beautiful with the diversity and you know, allowing us to experiencing, sharing things that are woke. But to me, we've always been rose-colored glasses. We've always done it. It's just now it's mad.
Right.
Yeah.
Now it's magnified. Yeah. And it's been an amazing ride. And now getting a chance to reunite with my cast. And this past year, we did so much press. We did D23 and Comic-Con International, and we got a chance to do, you know, an in-person premiere. We did in the beginning of the year, a virtual premiere in an XR studio. That was a really cool experience. You know, I felt like, I was like, is this what an influencer feels like when they're at YouTube? You know, because in the beginning of the pandemic, we did a virtual premiere. So everything was live and fans were interactive, but it was in like a soundstage where I felt like for 3 hours, I was in a music video. One room was, you know, set up for interviews. One room was behind the scenes. And then another room was where, you know, our beautiful singer who did the reimagined theme song, Joyce, performed. So it was like, oh, this is like a party. And it was so much fun. I felt very like 2023, but it was 2022.
Gotcha.
I hear you.
Yeah, it's been fun. Disney Plus has been really fun to work with.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
really
amazing.
Fun.
You know, I mean, being able to work with a company that allows you to also be your creative self, give input, give feedback, you know, put your own 2 cents in there. That's amazing, you know, because not a lot of businesses allow that freedom. You know, they like to control a lot of things in the industry, and the industry isn't always so bright as we know, but you know, we do our best to what comes our way, you know, and like you said in the beginning and earlier, you know, being a light is one of the most powerful things you can be in this world. And, you know, I just want to, you know, jump back again and talk about a little bit you growing up in New York, you know, from how everything changed from all that, and, you know, the Proud Family, you know, how was it growing up in New York? You know, what was your life like experience being from New York? I mean, you know, can we hear a little bit about that?
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I first came to Cali, because after we experienced Orlando, the show after 2 years was doing very well, clearly. So they're like, we're going to go to California and we're going to go from Universal Studios, which I was like, oh, the Terminator ride was my ride every lunch break. It was amazing. That was literally our backyard was Universal Studios. We would sneak out and we were like, we don't want to eat the food in the cafeteria here in the studio. We want to go buy pizza with the tourists. You know what I mean? Rather, we're spending our money, even though there's free food here. We want to do what we want to do. We were total teenagers, and came out to California, and we went to Paramount Studios, and that was just like the creme de la creme for us. That was my first time experiencing like the tour here in California, Rodeo Drive, and Beverly Hills, and seeing like, because listen, that's the dream as an actor. You either make it in a big city, which is New right? Which, you know, by the grace of God, I got a series regular role out of the Big Apple. And then I got brought out to the West Coast where most actors usually end up getting dumped. So for me, I felt blessed to be able to experience both worlds. And I remember there was a moment my mom and I were trying to figure out, like, what are we going to do? Where are we going to make our home? Because we were back and forth and we didn't want two places. So we picked California because everything I ended up getting in New York would bring me to California. Because after I decided to part ways with all that, I got offered a series regular role on a Peter Ingalls show. He did Saved by the Bell, City Guys, Hang Time, all those Saturday morning shows. And I was on a show called One World. You could see it now, all seasons on Tubi for free, which is really great. And I won a Hollywood Reporter. Yeah. And I won a Hollywood Reporter Award for Best Actress for that show. And so I went from sketch comedy to sitcom. And then from sitcom to more TV, like, you know, guest stars, supporting roles, film, and then animation. And now where I am today.
Wow.
But I miss New York and I miss my pizza.
When's the last time? When's the last time you've been back to New York? You went to New York.
It's been a couple years, but because I'm going to be doing something really fun this summer in New York. And let's just say I might be on a float. Okay.
All right. Okay.
We got a little
hashtag Lassie Posse. Okay. House of Boulevardes.
I love that.
Yeah, I actually live in New York now, but I'm originally from Fort Lauderdale. But like New York is definitely like just so many experiences, you know, and growth. Like it's one of those places that really make you, I think, like who you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like when you are here.
It gave me my street smarts and my chutzpah, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But now that I have a daughter, I'm like, would I let my daughter run around amok like I ran around amok? And me and my mama worried to the no.
Oh, hell no.
You know, I'm happy that I'm raising her where I am now, but at the same time, you know, for me, it's what I needed. It's what I needed for sure.
No, I respect
that.
Definitely
I hear that.
Where are you located? Are you in? Not to interrupt. Are you in New York as well?
No, I am in Tampa, Florida.
Okay, so we have a lot in common with New York and Florida, but they're not too far from each other. Hence why
I'm originally from Boston, born and raised Boston. So yeah.
Oh, how did you guys link up?
Brother Jimbo.
All right. So literally like, I was like 16, 17. He was doing a lot of professional dancing at the time. And I was more into music, and there was a website called seemebecomefamous.com.
Oh my God, I love it. I've never heard of this, but that sounds amazing.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
But I remember just like always thinking like, oh, this guy is like really like going for his dream, really pushing, you know, to the next level. And there was just always a sense of respect and just a sense of like endearment, and really always pushing each other to the next level. And then there was one moment when he was in New York for, I think he was doing a tour or something, and we linked up, and we've been brothers ever since. So it's like
I'm surprised we all haven't met, because I feel like we're definitely of the same tribe for sure.
Gotcha. No, I definitely feel that for sure.
Yeah. Well, hopefully maybe we'll all meet in person one day.
Absolutely.
That would be sick.
You never know.
We got to make that happen. You never know.
We do in-person interview. That would be fun.
I was just telling him that. You know, it's gonna go from here to, you know, me and him, we're gonna end up doing in-person interviews, and it's gonna be I already see it.
Well, things are opening up now. You know, the pandemic is finally being lifted by the God. So I think now things kind of open up a little bit, even though it's so crazy how everything is remote. It's crazy, but you miss that human interaction, right?
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And you know, as we get ready to wrap it up, definitely just want to, you know, throw a couple more questions your way.
Sure.
You know, you worked with nearly so many, you know, television companies, ABC, CBS, PBS, Fox, NBC, Disney, then you have Nick, Lifetime. What was, you know, maybe your favorite in all those companies that you've worked with doing business wise? Maybe which one do you feel like you know, always would have that place in your heart at the end of the day, and maybe you would always love to continue to do business with them and build with them?
I mean, I feel Nickelodeon for sure. That was my foundation. That's what gave me my regular role. You know, Brian Robbins, who is the creator, you know, is now the president of Paramount. And so the fact that I'm still aligned with the writers and past, you know, co-stars that are still working on things at Nickelodeon, even producing with Nickelodeon, you know, it makes me feel very blessed to still be aligned with all of that love and light. And even the same with Disney. I was a part of Disney as a teenager as well, and now still working with them as an adult and as a mom. But aside from those two networks, which also are very apples and oranges, everyone always asks me what's the difference. I'm like, listen, Nickelodeon is kids for kids, and I feel like Disney, you know, incorporates a perspective maybe a little bit more music orientated, and sometimes they include adults a little bit more, because with Nickelodeon it's always like the perspective of the child, but I feel like, you know, they don't overlap with one another, so there's room for all of the magic. But when it comes to like theatrical work, which is more maybe drama related, two that really resonate with me is PBS. I was reoccurring on a show called American Family. Gregory Navar directed program. He directed the movie Selena. I worked with alongside Raquel Welch and Sonia Braga and Isai Morales, and Edward James Olmos played my father, and Constance Marie from George Lopez show. So working with an all Latin cast, you know, as well as Michael Pena. I mean, the list goes on and on. I literally felt like I was really where I was needing to be with my original blueprint. That was something that was a role where I played the younger version of an actress named Rachel Tickerton. She started off in a movie called Total Recall back in the day. And I actually look a lot like her. It was good casting. I was like, I'm not mad at them. And another show was when I guest starred on ER. That was a really awesome professional set. That experience, I remember I was like, I feel like I'm in a hospital. and also the 6 Feet Under. I had a recurring role in 6 Feet Under, and that was the coolest set that I worked on. There was something where it was a TV show, but I felt like I was on a movie set. And I remember it was the first time, because technology was getting more evolved, where the director like brought a little handheld something for me to see. And I was like, oh, that's fancy. Like, I'm aging myself because this was a while back, but it was cool to see, with me growing within the entertainment business, to also see the different cameras. And you should have saw the cameras that we filmed with when I did all that on Nickelodeon. They were like big machines. And now, you know, you got, you know, the Canon, the Reds, this and that. Yeah, exactly. I shot a music video of myself with another person on my iPhone. It's crazy what you can do. So that part is kind of really cool. But yeah, I mean, all the networks I've ever worked with have been amazing. And it's true, when you're on those sets, you really do feel like, wow, this is magic. And that's why I don't take any of this for granted. I try to stay in gratitude and remind myself to stay in gratitude, because that is definitely the key to keep just striving daily, is staying in gratitude.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just want to give a round of applause for that, you know, that was awesome. That was beautiful, you know, and, you know, I thank you for, you know, taking the time out to be here with us and, you know, sharing your experience and being in the industry and just life. And I got maybe 2 more questions, and, you know, brother, if you have any last questions, you know, feel free to jump right in. You know, what would be, you know, your take on, I feel, spirituality? Everybody has their own perspective on what their spirituality means to them. What does spirituality means to you?
It means that you are aware of your inner voice, and that you are aware that you are greater than just what you think you are, and that you have faith, and that it doesn't matter what you necessarily believe in, but that you believe in something greater than yourself, because we truly are all one. Right. So at the end of the day, however you need to have moments of solace, and however you need to just get through, as long as I feel a human being can know what love is, and as long as a human being can be aware of the power of a thought, we battle with that daily as human beings. It's all about thoughts, because you could say one thing and then it just is on a loop all day long. Right. So if you can really conquer your saboteurs, because we all have them. And the main one is the judge, and not judge yourself, right? And be that reflection you want to see in others. Because I always say to my kids that I coach, you got to focus to get the pocus.
I was a kid, I would have
I
definitely
love
listened.
that.
I'd be like, focus, focus.
How cute is that? Like Hocus Pocus? I mean,
Right,
gonna do
Hocus
that.
Pocus. I love that. Focus.
you gotta have
I'm
these
gonna do
little
it
things.
today.
They're gonna remember that for sure.
Write it on a
That's-
little sticky note and
that's
put it
dope.
on your
Yeah,
refrigerator.
I'm gonna tell my daughter that today.
Yeah,
That is
good.
that is dope. That
You know,
is dope.
and just love. We're really hard on ourselves. I'm hard on myself. We all are. Let's, you gotta take it. Just breathe.
Yes. 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 No.
The power of breath is amazing.
Absolutely.
Get that good pranayama.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you, that, just trying to stay focused, being more present, being more conscious in the moment of your thoughts. Every thought creates your reality. It's for some people they may feel
Watch
like
The Matrix. It's real, people. It's real.
Watch it. Watch it.
Wait,
That's what I'm talking about. Yes, yes.
I was so excited. Not to interrupt, this past year, at D23, I got a chance to meet Lawrence Fishburne, and the whole time I'm just going, I know what's up. I know you know what's up.
Wow. I mean, I gotta say, like, this is probably this is definitely, I think, one of the best interviews that I think we've done. I mean, we've yeah, I mean, we're back rolling again, and it just was really a pleasure to really see just somebody come on here and just be so just so enlightened, and and just such a pleasure, just a pleasure to talk to. And it's really great to see you on your journey, and we're still following. We're going to be like keeping up with you, and it's just like really great to see someone just so elegantly just the way you are. And I just want to say, keep doing it, never stop. And yes, the Matrix is real.
I love you so much. Well, listen, the reason I was able to be myself is because I'm a reflection of you both, right? So I can be organic and authentic because you both just showed a showering bestowed of love and light as soon as I got on. And so don't change a thing, right? No matter what, it's like, listen, we're all in this business. We can be a chameleon, but I read something yesterday that was just like, you don't need to change your personality for anybody. And I was like, ooh, that really resonated with me because I'm tired. I just want to be myself. You know what I mean? And sometimes, yeah, we say things that we maybe be a little blunt or come off wrong. And then guess what? That's when you say, I'm sorry, or that's when you try to explain yourself, right? But you don't need to people please in life, focus on you, and then all will come into alignment. And I really, really hope that we can all stay in touch. I honestly mean that. If you guys are in Cali, or if I'm in Florida, or if you do in-person stuff, I'd love to meet you. You all have been just so lovely, and this is what the world is about, is connecting, aligning, and any way that I can cross promote and give you guys love, I send that back tenfold.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. I appreciate that so much. I'm just gonna
Oh, here we go.
Yes.
Spreading more of that peace, love, and light, connecting with the tribe members within this universe. It is a beautiful thing.
Obsidian right here.
Oh,
so we ground in
that.
it. We ground in it. We ground in it.
Amazing.
My
Thank
egg
you
in
so
honor of
much.
Easter.
And this is We Here. This is season 3. You already know the vibes. It's your boy, Joshua October.
I'm Jimmy Levar, and this is the Online Experience.
Bye, guys. Love you.
Thank you so much, Alisa, for being with us.